Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HealStrong podcast with me, Namita Purohit. I'm a leadership and life coach, and I'm dedicated to serving my clients in overcoming whatever they need to overcome and in growing to the levels that they aspire for. And I try to serve them with sincerity, with a foundation in Eastern wisdom and Western psychology. Today's podcast is sponsored by the HealStrong Program, which is a program to help people make a complete recovery from toxic narcissistic abuse. Yes, that's possible for you. And it's a membership where people get access to courses, stepwise, a 5 step program, courses, coaching with us, and community. Um, Today, we're going to talk about scapegoating in a narcissistic family. And we're going to explore some parent child relationships over here, right? And how that scapegoating that you went through as a child or as a young, even up to a young adult, and some even to their 50s and 60s, how that carries forward to your marriage and how that impacts your marriage and your adult relationships. What does that do to you? What do you feel inside? And also, we're going to talk about how ancestral patterns could also be affecting you in becoming the scapegoat. Those effects are there as well. So, what is this scapegoating? And let me start with a story here. Yes. So there is this, and these are true stories that I've had with my clients, different people, and then we've helped them overcome, and we share them with their permission, of course, while preserving the anonymity of these heal strong heroes who have done the work that they need to do to recover from that toxic abuse. So, what is this scapegoating? So narcissistic parents, now say if somebody grew up with narcissistic parents, there could be both of them could be narcissistic. One of them could be a high functioning narcissist and the other could be a low functioning narcissist, or one of them was the narcissist and the partner was an enabler, or the partner was passive, that they were not there for the children and the children did not receive the protection that they needed from the other parent while facing the narcissistic parent. Yes. So now, if the narcissist has done a good job of having an enabler with them, or just shutting down their partner completely, or creating such a toxic situation in the life of the partner, every time they speak up for the children or every time they try to do something, so then the partner tends to keep quiet and allow things to happen, uh, because they're picking their battles. Now, who suffers there are the children. And sometimes some partners also keep quiet for the sake of the children, because if they start protecting the children more out in the open, then the children are going to bear the brunt of it. Now, whatever that is that you have a narcissistic parent who is looking for a punching bag. They can't survive without a punching bag. They need someone who they can constantly call out, constantly find fault with, constantly shift the blame, constantly pass the responsibility on. And they do that to their child. And why do they do that to the child? They do that to the child because the child is very vulnerable and very confused. Why is the child vulnerable? Because they're not adults who have agency and who have resources. They are children whose survival, whose happiness, whose existence depends upon the parent. And they'll do whatever it takes to please the parent, to keep the parent happy, so that their survival, their own survival, is not in question. Children tend to be loyal, and parents can demand that loyalty from the child, right? And the child doesn't want to get into trouble. The child is looking for love. Yes. So the narcissistic parent, and if there are more children in the house, they'll choose one to be the constant scapegoat and the other to be the golden child. And if there are more, then one of them could be the forgotten child. Now, how do they make that choice as to which one is the scapegoat and which one is the golden child? And these roles keep shifting, by the way, and we'll get into that. Stay with me here. Now, when they have one child who's like their ideal child, they're idealizing that child, they're making that child feel special, they are putting very high standards of achievement, high standards of things to do, so that for that child to perform, and that's their golden favorite child who's going to live, through them, that child, they're going to live their aspirations and their dream, and that child is going to make them look good in society. Yes. And that child grows up under tremendous pressure, even if it looks like they're getting a lot of affection from the narcissist. They aren't. Even they're being used as an object, right? Now, there's another child in the family who will be used as a scapegoat. And they may actually be really sharp. They may actually be very intelligent, even more so than the golden child, and even more so than the narcissist, with better human qualities and better outside external qualities, performance, getting things done, all of that. But this child will be scapegoated and will be found fault with, constantly criticized, and constantly being put down, and being constantly blamed for everything that goes on in the wrong in the house, or everything that goes wrong in the narcissistic parent's own life. Like if they forgot something, like they got into the car but they forgot the key, and they'll use the scapegoat, like, yeah, you were talking to me when I was stepping out and that's why I forgot the key. Say they were cooking and there was a fire in the house because of their cooking, whether it's a big or a small fire, the scapegoat will be blamed for that, even if the scapegoat is not around. Yes, the narcissist will take no responsibility on anything, will use the scapegoat even for decision making. And the scapegoat is still trying to find their feet in the world, is very confused about their existence, their identity, etc., will help the narcissist with decision making. Only when the decision goes wrong that the scapegoat will be blamed. The scapegoat will be triangulated against the golden child, and that's how the narcissist gets supply. Yes. So they will pit the scapegoat against the golden child. Like, hey, look at this child is doing so much better. Look at you. Or they'll go to the golden child and complain about the scapegoat and then get both of them to fight against each other. All the while, the narcissist is feeling really good about, like, wow, I love this loyalty match. Yes. Or they'll use the golden child against the scapegoat, saying that, you know what, the scapegoat spoke up against me, said these things to me, and how dare they do that, and I'm going, my god, I'm feeling so hurt. And then the golden child is confused, and the golden child will remember that the scapegoat even stood up to them, and like it's like common pain point here, and like golden child's going to go and fight with the scapegoat. Now what does this do to the scapegoat? The scapegoat is feeling stressed all the time. They're feeling like they are not valued, they're feeling like they have their opinion is not of value, and they feel that the only way they can stay out of trouble is to constantly please the narcissist, to constantly be in the good books of the narcissist, and to not do anything wrong. But no matter what they do, the scapegoat is still found fault with. And why does the narcissist do that? They choose the scapegoat to be one person who is who cannot be broken, who is tough, but who's sensitive and who does get hurt. Now, why do they choose someone who cannot be broken? Because then that person will keep bouncing back, and the narcissist will keep having the supply and a punching bag and a dump bag for all their blames and all their things that are going wrong in their life. Yes. And the scapegoat being having some inner resilience is not going to speak up that much, is not going to completely collapse. So then the narcissist does not look bad in front of in the eyes of the other parent or everyone else in the family for completely breaking down the scapegoat. Now, when the scapegoat is constantly fighting an internal battle, an internal rage, constantly suppressing it because they're also confused completely about themselves. Some of the beliefs they develop is, I'm not good enough. I'm not good looking enough. Like, oh, God forbid if the child is better looking than the parent, and this happened to one of my clients, that child was scapegoated so badly and made to feel so bad about her looks, about everything, when she was one of the most beautiful women I had met. And this child grows up thinking, I'm not good looking enough. I'm not good enough. I must do better. I must be perfect. I must do better, because that's what's happening. They're being constantly found fault with. They grow up thinking that their decision making is all messed up because they were used for the decision making, and when the decision went wrong, this is what the child was told. And I'm just trying to scroll through my notes to get some more beliefs. They feel that if I'm not productive, I'm worthless, because that's how they're being treated by the narcissist. That the only time they're giving them attention is when they're doing something productive to make the narcissist look good. So then this child grows up these beliefs. Also, I'm one mistake away from complete ruin. What if I mess up here? What if I do something wrong here? uh, because anytime there was an error, there was such a big tantrum thrown by the narcissist, even when the scapegoat didn't do anything wrong. So they think that if they make a mistake, it's complete ruin because of the reaction that they got from the narcissist. Yes, but life is going to be full of mistakes, and we are going to be in a lot of different things where we have to go and fix things again and again. With whatever decisions we made, they didn't go the same way, and we just have to keep learning and moving forward. But the scapegoat grows up with this belief, and they're in such high anxiety as they're doing things. Yes, and they think they're defective. Something is wrong with them because the caregiver through which they understand themselves, which is their parent, is constantly finding fault with them, constantly telling them that what they're doing is wrong, constantly telling them that they're wrong, they're stupid, they make no sense. And why is the narcissist doing that to them? The narcissist is doing that to them because the narcissist cannot tolerate the fact that the scapegoat has better human qualities than them, has a better mind than them, and is much more higher capacity than them. The narcissist cannot tolerate that because then they're forced to look at their flaws. And by definition, narcissists cannot look at their flaws. It's impossible for them to exist if they look at their flaws, and therefore they suppress it. So the best way to do that is to keep pounding the scapegoat. I have no skills or talents. That's another thing the scapegoat grows because the golden child is being constantly praised and constantly, used as a trophy, etc. And this child grows up thinking, I'm not good enough. I have no skills or talents. And if I disagree, I will be hated and I will be exiled. I'll be thrown out of this thing. And the golden child doesn't realize that they're a pawn in this whole narcissistic scheme of things. They think they're trying to rescue the parent, or they're trying to do the right thing, or they're the best and they have the support of the parents, but the golden child is being used by the narcissist to fulfill their agenda. Now, what happens is that if the scapegoat disagrees with the narcissistic parent, then the narcissistic parent cannot tolerate any disagreement because they want uninterrupted subordination from everyone. Now if somebody just disagrees with their idea, the parent cannot handle it, and then they hate that person, and then they use the golden child to hate together and keep bringing the confidence of the scapegoat down. Now how many of you have experienced this? I would love to know in chat. Right now, as the scapegoat is going through this private suffering, crying alone in their bed in the night, crying in the bathroom, and they're doing everything to protect themselves from the caregiver. The irony is they're growing up with someone who is supposed to be the source of joy and support and confidence for them, and security and stability and protection for them, but they're constantly protecting themselves from such a caregiver. It's like, I'm thirsty, I'm looking for water, and the person who has water, I'm doing everything to please them. And that shouldn't be the case. The person should just give them the water that they need, right? And that's humanity. But the person who with the water is actually giving them sand to quench their thirst, and they have no parent. So as they're growing up, they have that loss in their life that there was no parent, because the other parent is either too scared to speak up, or or doesn't get it, or is a narcissist themselves. And they're dealing not just being alone with no parent, but they're also dealing with a narcissist all by themselves as children, and they're alone with their feelings, and they develop traits of just trying to fix things, trying to keep everything together, keep everything in balance, and they take responsibility of every scene of their life when they're surrounded by people where they feel it's incumbent on them to keep everyone peaceful. And they're constantly being trumped up by charges, false charges, that they didn't do. and then they have no place to appeal, and they're mercilessly punished. And when they go through this, there is loss of confidence. They like to be alone most of the time, even in their adult life, because they just like, I don't want to be with people. I want to keep my calm. And they're so disturbed by all that has happened inside of them. There's so much anxiety going on inside of them that they just feel better when they're not with people because they're so confused about people. They don't want to get into trouble. They take too much responsibility. They attract the wrong partners too. Um, Mostly scapegoats attract narcissistic partners in their life because that's what they're used to. That seems normal. And they're great targets for narcissists because of all the low self esteem and the lack of confidence, etc. And even if they attract a healthy partner, because of the scapegoat's inability to feel solid in themselves, to feel confident in themselves, and they have a messed up brain because of being raised by a narcissist about how relationships work. Uh, they they are not able to have a great relationship with their spouse, even if the spouse is whole and complete. And what does the scapegoat need to do? Is the scapegoat needs to acknowledge that yes, this is what I went through. Needs to understand those traits, needs to acknowledge what they went through, and they need to heal all these six different beliefs that I've pointed out, these patterns that I've pointed out, and the years and years of abuse that I've pointed out. And when they do that, can the scapegoat really own up to who they truly are? Sentient, beautiful, super smart, super intelligent, empathic, emotional, caring human beings. Yes. And these were the beautiful qualities they had, but in the eyes of the narcissist, it was very threatening for them to have them around. And I'll give you an example. Like one of my clients uh, had a narcissistic mother, and she had a younger brother who was the golden child, and she was the scapegoat. Now, mind you, there is no constance in these positions also. Mostly, yes, one will be the scapegoat and one will be the golden child. But if at all the golden child decides to speak up or does something different from the narcissist is going to scapegoat the golden child too. And then the roles reverse. The scapegoat becomes the golden child temporarily, and the golden child becomes the scapegoat. So now here we had this scene, visualize it, that they made something beautiful for their mother's birthday, both the brother and the sister together, and they something nice to eat. And then they kept it in front of the mother. And they put some special ingredient in that. And then after the mother enjoyed it, and then they told the mother that, Mommy, we actually put this inside that. And she started screaming, How dare you touch that? I told you never to touch that. And I told you this, I told you that. And all. They were like, When did she tell us not to touch it? And then she started, the brother, like the younger brother said that, Yeah, it was my idea. I thought you like it, Mommy. And then the mother goes and pounds the golden child and like, How dare you? You think you know me better and you think you can do whatever you want? How could you never ask me before doing this? And they were like, Oh, it's your birthday. Now, the scapegoat is somebody who gets the narcissist, who understands way before anybody else that the person they're dealing with is a narcissist. Yes. And then the scapegoat decides to speak up that, Mommy, we did something nice for you, and this is a child, and like, why his intention was good. So why are you screaming at this person, at this baby? This is my brother. So the scapegoat wants to protect everyone because they know how bad that pain is inside of them, that they feel like they want to go and protect everyone. And after that, the pounding for the younger brother stops, but the narcissist develops one more reason to hate the scapegoat. Why? Because they have more humanity than me, they have better behavior than me, and now they're speaking up. So I'm going to pound the scapegoat further. And this scapegoating can go on way into adulthood. I have had clients who are in their 60s, who are in their 70s, who still feel like they have been, who still have that scapegoating pattern. And because of that, they haven't been able to live fuller lives. They haven't been able to do anything, that they really wanted to do, and they've been in this constant pain, constant confusion around people, constantly pushing themselves in the back, allowing everyone else to take the lead. At great personal loss for themselves because they're so used to the pattern of being in the background so that they don't get into trouble. Now, do you want to live like that? If you're watching this far, My question to you is, do you want to live like that, with that emotional state, with that constant berating of your own self, with that constant numbing of your own emotions, putting yourself in the back, taking responsibility for everything that's happening around you, and not knowing what it is to actually live a life where you honor your needs and feelings, where you thrive with your intellect and your relationships? Yes, there is a way, and we have helped so many people with the Heal Strong program, which is a 5 step program or steps developed by me. The reveal stage, heal, deal, zeal, right? So reveal, peel, heal, deal, and zeal. So reveal is where you understand what happened, and you understand the traits, and you truly detach yourself from the narcissist, and you don't get hooked anymore. And that happens when you understand your own vulnerabilities, which I've kind of talked about. But you not only understand them, but you work on them and you heal them, which is the third stage. You heal all these traumatic memories, and you heal all of these different patterns, and you transform yourself. And then you learn how to deal, set boundaries, not get stuck in the triangulation, live your life, not respond to every hook of the narcissist, because you've done the peel stage, you're not getting hooked anymore. And zeal, where you connect with yourself, your spiritual identity, and you live a life of zeal, finally owning yourself, being there for yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and living a life of fulfilling your dreams tremendously. Thank you very much for all those who have listened so far. I have an announcement to make. So, we have the Heal Strong program that you can join, which is a membership where you get access to these 5 step courses, where you actually go stepwise and you work on each of these things. And people, just by even in the first week, they're like, wow, I didn't know this was like how it was. And it did, just that realization gives them so much freedom, what to speak of doing all 5 steps of the process. Now, you can join the membership, which has access to courses, coaching, and community. Yes, you get access to group calls and one-on-one calls, and you get access to a community where you get can post your questions and get answered while you're making progress with the modules. And you get support not just from the coaches, which is myself and the team, but also fellow students who will be able to empathize with you and support you in your experience. One of the comments that we get most of the time is that when I talk to my family, nobody gets me, but when I come to Heal Strong, I feel so understood, and I feel confident again in what I'm doing. So yes, you need that community. And for those of you who are ready, click the link below and you can know more about the program and join. For those of you who are like, no, I think this is all very new for me, I want to start somewhere, you can download the free worksheet, which will help you go through 3 of the 5 step processes. And for those of you who are like, yeah, I've done the free worksheet, but yeah, maybe with the free worksheet, I'd like some guidance, you can get the starter pack, which is 3 videos that help you go through that worksheet and they help you work on it. And I think that's for $29. So I wish you all the very best in your Heal Strong journey in recovering from the scapegoating abuse and the scapegoating patterns, so that you can have a beautiful and full life where you don't have to suppress any of your dreams, you don't have to suppress any of your personality, where you're confident in yourself, confident in what you're doing, and you're moving ahead with grace, you're moving ahead with zeal, and you're doing wonderful things for yourself, and you're doing a wonderful you're having a wonderful time with your own family, where you're able to be fully present for your spouse, for your children, and have authentic, deep, meaningful relationships with them. So I wish you all the best. One of our logo, as you can see on the screen up here, is the Heal Strong logo. And I've never kind of explained it, but this is the first time I'll do it. It signifies um, it signifies the phoenix. And if you see, there is one wing is still on fire, and that's the yellow, and the other wing is healed. And the story of the phoenix is that it burns down completely in the fire, but it rises from its own ashes and it comes up. And the beautiful flower that you see on top is the flower of healing, the flower of comfort, the flower of divinity, the flower of support. Yes. So, this is the Heal Strong program. All of us are going to be like phoenixes rising from the ashes of all the past trauma and all the abuse and the loss of the self. We're going to rise like the phoenix, and we're going to become beautiful. We're going to live a life of beauty, of aspiration, of goals, of fun, of peace, of no stress, of clarity, of how to deal with everyone and different types of people. And we're going to be the leading light and the guiding light for so many more just by how we healed ourselves, how we were those cycle breakers, and how we came ahead in life. And just by our example, so many would get inspiration. So I look forward to you joining or connecting with us in any of the three ways mentioned below. The best is to join the Heal Strong program. If I were you, I would not delay because I'm getting a complete system to heal and recover. And that's what I want for you too.